How awesome is my guest Shiva for being so flexible?
Adding the live on my Instagram.
All right. So,
Okay.
all right, cool.
All right. Whenever you're ready, let me know.
Yeah, let's do it. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Enlightened Conversations. Really excited for today. Have an awesome guest with us up in Montreal, Canada. And we are going to be talking with radical self-love mentor Shiva. And excited to vibe with her today. I reached out to her on Instagram not too long ago and asked her if she wanted to have a fun conversation with me. And here we are today. So excited to share some love and light with all you guys out there. So without further ado, for me, I want to introduce you guys to Shiva, and if you can share with the audience so they're more familiar with you, who you are, what you do, why you do it, all these good things.
Oh wow, big questions. Hi everyone. My name is Shiva, and I am on Instagram at SoShiva. What I do a lot. I hold a lot of hats at the moment. My partner and I, Nicholas, he is a photographer, fitness photographer. So I am his photographer assistant, his makeup artist, as well as his photography posing coach. We work with a lot of first timers, meaning people who have never had a photo shoot before. So I help them get more comfortable with the camera, and it kind of aligns with me being a self-love mentor and a confidence coach, because I'm so about people, especially women, just being comfortable in their own skin and be comfortable where they are in life at the present moment. Of course, you can always improve, but I'm all about being comfortable where you are. And yeah, so everything that I do kind of aligns well with each other. Yeah, so that's pretty much me in a nutshell.
I love it. I love it. And it's cool when I always get excited when people have like different passions, different things that they're enjoying, and they're putting their focus and their energy on those things. And it's so important what you just described as far as helping people be comfortable with themselves, confident with themselves where they are. For any of us, like that's if we want to manifest anything new, it's very difficult to do if we're like struggling and like we're not okay where we are right now. We're looking at what is, but we're kind of discontent with it, or we're doubting ourselves, or not feeling like we're worthy, and all these things. I love what you described right off the bat, because that's what makes it so that we can create whatever it is that we'd like to see in our lives. I'm always curious for people like with you. I know we all came here as little unconditional loving little babies, and for a time most of us forget who we are, and maybe compare ourselves to other kids, and maybe that continues on in the teenage years and all these things. How did the light bulb come on for you, where you were like, you knew who you were, and has led to you wanting to mentor and help people with that?
Yeah, so I feel like I've always known I was a little bit different than everyone else. And like you mentioned, comparing yourself to other people and comparing yourself to just like what society tells you that you should be doing or who you should be. However, about 8 years ago, I went through what I call like a spiritual reawakening. Because like you mentioned, I believe that we all come awakened, and all the junk that gets put on us, we forget. So that's why I call it my reawakening. So about 8 years ago, that started, and 6 years ago or 5 years ago, I went from working corporate to being a freelancer, and knowing that corporate and doing things the way that they're supposed to be done that didn't align with who I knew I was deeply. I knew that I had to break out of that mold, and yeah, so that was 5 years ago that I did that, and it was something completely different. I studied social services, I worked retail management, I also worked in marketing, and I started modeling, which is so weird, but I started modeling on the side, and it got to the point where like I was having so much freedom and so much fun modeling, and also a lot of money modeling without an agency, just freelancing, that I realized, like, wait, why am I miserable going to work a 9 to 5 making less money than I'm doing on the weekends, something I'm actually passionate about, something I'm actually like I love doing. So one day I just woke up and I was like, yeah, I think I'm done. I think I'm done trying to do what like my mom or like my sisters tell me, you need security, you need to do this. And I just quit and did modeling full time.
I love it. I love it. So I had a similar journey when it comes to my love affair or lack thereof with the corporate world. And I always like what I want most for myself and also for anybody in humanity that wants this too for themselves is to have the freedom to be able to wake up during in the morning and just ask themselves what sounds most fun, what sounds most fulfilling, and to be able to live that out. I feel like one of my greatest weaknesses, Shiva, at one point was taking the present moment for granted and thinking, I'll be happy when, like we have all this like time, that we'll have, in the future, which I'm sure all of us listening to this podcast right now will live to be at least 150 years old or older. And, but what if we don't? We're alive right now. So, now I consider that to be, my greatest strength as far as just really appreciating the present moment and wanting to see, how much I can enjoy it or how much I can be at peace in it or, whatever it is, just to be able to make the most of whatever I have going on. And that's what led me to also leaving corporate America and, creating how I create now. And what you described, like whenever I hear a human being following their joy, following their passion, whatever it is that is meaningful to them, I'm so excited for them. And I know that all of us out there can have that. Sometimes we just don't know that we can, and that leap of faith that you had to be able to trust is a big part of being able to create the lives that we want. So your example already for people that you're helping is awesome because a lot of people I'm sure probably right now, especially with what's going on in the world, are thinking about changing it up, or maybe they already are. And if we can give encouragement for those people, then I think this conversation is awesome in that regard already.
Definitely agree. And I think what you just touched on, like the pandemic that we were experiencing right now, a lot of people are realizing that their 9 to 5, that security that they thought they had is not so secure. And something else that you mentioned too, they're thinking that like, okay, well, like, in the future, I can do what I really want to do. I can work in 9 to 5 and be miserable for a few years, and then I'm gonna go and do what I really want to do. And it's like that's just an excuse that we have just to keep us in that safe little bubble. Being in the present moment and realizing that like this is what matters the most. Of course, have goals, have big goals for the future, but the present moment, when you just like are in the present moment and realize like that's what really matters, and you should be having a life that you love. You should be waking up wanting to wake up. You should be waking up excited about things that you're gonna do throughout the day. And it's not something that other people get to have. Like you can have that for yourself as well.
Absolutely. We have the cliche, Shiva, of enjoy the journey and all these things, and it's become so cliche for a lot of people. But those that really can, and we all can, but those that really decide to, that's really, if you want, like the way to manifest everything that you want, whether it be health, relationships, abundance, financially, or whatever it is, freedom. Like the way to do that is to actually be in the present moment and just see how much you can get. Like if you're doing something regarding your health, like be 100% there and like be focused on that. Or if it's a relationship that you're wanting to see evolve, like when you're there, when you're spending time, like put 100% of yourself there, not putting your body physically there, but your mind is like, well, I kind of need to do this, or should I be doing this? Or then your energy is all over the place, which doesn't allow momentum to get going. And since when we get to those things that we want in our life, in the quote unquote future, it's not promised to us, but when we get there, it's still going to be the present moment. So it's like we're just going from one present moment to the next, to the next, to the next. And if we could just focus on that, life becomes actually really, really simple. Because like you said, we can have goals and dreams, and all those things are awesome to, things that we're excited about. As human beings, we love moving towards something that's fulfilling to us. And at the same time, like all that really exists are the moments and the moments and the moments leading up to that. So I love that. I love this conversation a ton. Anytime we can help people focus on that that leads to present moment, being at peace. We don't have to worry about how it's going to happen, when it's going to happen, who it's going to be, all the details of life that typically make us anxious. So I love that so much. So right now with you, like, are you, because you refer to yourself as a radical self-love mentor, are you doing like one-on-one coaching, or what are you up to right now when it comes to that? And how did you decide to call that title, and what does like self-love mean to you? I just asked you like 9 questions in one. Answer any of them that you want.
Right. So last year I signed up for a life coaching certification program. So it was like a self-study aspect, and then a week immersion in Toronto. For like a week, we did like a training, and it was amazing. I got to meet so many amazing women, and one man, Patrick. And so before that, I always knew like coaching was the thing that I wanted to do. People have been suggesting it to me for at least the past 8 years. But to me, it was so like, oh, coaching. Like, who am I to coach anybody? That negative Nancy instead of like, who am I to coach anybody? Who's going to listen to me? Yeah, like, I'm younger. What can I offer people except for like my experiences, But this training, it really helped me realize that it's not just about my personal experiences. It's the fact that I've gone through these things, and the mindset that I had going through these things, the mindset that I kind of figured out myself, that's what is helping other people. It's not like they have to go through the same thing that I did. It's more because I was able to step outside of my bubble, outside of my box, that I've strengthened neuropathic, like waves in my head to realize that I can help other people do the same thing with their own issues. So coming to the title of a self-love mentor, something that I've always just been very good at is just being comfortable in my skin. I don't really get embarrassed. I really don't. I just don't. Because I'm never worried about other people judging me. Whatever that I do, however I look, whatever it is, I've just always been comfortable in just being myself. In whatever phase I was going through, I just knew that, like, well, I'm here, and I'm just going to go all in with it. So calling myself a self-love mentor is because I truly believe that that is a skill that a lot of people don't have, and a lot of people don't realize how important that is. Being confident within yourself, loving yourself fully, and I'm not saying pretending that you don't have things to improve on. Of course, we all have things to improve on. But knowing that within yourself, just how you are, you're so beautiful and you're so lovable just by being yourself. And knowing that we all have shadow selves that we need to, face. And even talking about shadow work and our shadow selves is not necessarily good or bad. It's more of just being aware of that. Becoming aware of it, and within that awareness that we are able to change that if we need to change it. And that's where I believe like full growth actually happens. And that's where I believe that we get to experience life fully. And I truly believe like it starts with self-love. The relationship that you have with yourself sets the tone for any other relationship that you have with other people, with nature, with the world, with whatever it is. I believe it starts with yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You just inspired me to say 2 things that I'm really excited to share with the audience. And maybe 3 things. But initially, when you talked about just for all of us, like the best way for us to help any other human beings is through our own example, because people can see the light in you that is shining, and that just reminds them of who they also truly are. And what I mean by that, if you guys haven't been listening for a while, if you've been listening for a while, you've heard me share this a lot, because I just love to remind any human being that all of us are just different expressions of the same non-physical energy. So even though you look at the physical avatar in front of you and you say that's Shiva, or you say that's Noel, or you say that's who you are, this is just the physical avatar that's housing the non-physical energy that is a different expression. It's the same non-physical energy flowing in different expressions of all of us. Like the waves are just another non-physical expression, as far as the physical expression of the same non-physical energy as well. Everything that we see in nature. And so the waves aren't looking at each other and being like, that wave's bigger than me, or that wave's bluer than me, or that wave's warmer than me. Like they're not doing that. But as human beings, we like to compare ourselves and look around and ask the question, are we enough? And I love how you just express like not being embarrassed and being able to be comfortable in your own skin and truly having that self-love. When we realize that we're all just different expressions of the same energy, we're all made up of the same stuff. Like there's really no difference. We're just housing it in different expressions. Then we can be super comfortable with ourselves and be able to go out there and just enjoy our lives without worrying about no one's any better or worse than you out there. No one's any different. Like we're just different expressions. So next time you start comparing yourself to someone else and questioning your worthiness, ask, what would the waves do? Ask, are the waves comparing themselves? And it'll be funny, it'll be silly, but just you can laugh at yourself then. I love laughing at myself. I'm just anything that comes out. That's why I don't script these, and we can just laugh and joke the whole time. So, but I love that. That's awesome. That's the example of that is so helpful for everybody that is attracted into your life, Shiva, because they notice that, like they notice people that don't get embarrassed, like they notice that we can laugh at ourselves and like it's just not so serious. Like we take life so serious, a lot of us, and I don't take life very seriously at all because again, we could have goals and dreams and things that we're moving towards, which makes us excited, but none of that is promised to us. So like I just want to enjoy the moment that I'm in. Like if I'm spending time having a conversation with someone, how fun can the conversation be? Like if I'm walking to the store, if I'm going to whatever, going for a run. Like if you encounter me when I'm out here running in Miami, like if I'm inspired to say something, I just say something. Like you may not say anything back, but it doesn't matter to me. I'm just having fun. Like we're just enjoying life. So I highly recommend. Maybe you don't start off as extreme as, I don't know you so well, Shiva, but I'm just from how you describe yourself already, I can tell once someone says that they don't get embarrassed, because I don't get embarrassed at all. Like it's the biggest thing for me is like I had to remind myself of the story because we had the technical difficulties at the end. You guys don't know this in the actual version of that's out, but that's the biggest thing for me. I was like, I can't control this, and I have to remind myself of the story that I have of technology always works out for me because the universe wants this out there, and then I can go back to just being my playful self.
Check in with yourself too. I love that. Like, well, okay, why can you control this? Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's kind of if we are like right now, like we in this time that we're living in the world right now, like we have options for things that we can do, and then there's options for things that we cannot do right now. And I'm noticing the difference as far as the mood that people are in and the energy that they have in the present moments, as we've been talking about that. The ones that are choosing to focus on the things that they can do and just choose between those, and it's really all you can do. It's all the only option you have. So if you choose to focus on the things that you can't and like let momentum go there and put your energy and attention on there, I'm not saying you're wrong for doing it. I'm not even telling you that you should or shouldn't do whatever you want. I'd never tell anybody how to choose for themselves. But just know that focusing on anything that you don't have control over, and it's like that's you like, oh, if I focus all day long on how much I want to go out to the beach, which is right there, like I probably wouldn't feel so good. I'd just be looking at it, looking at the sand and the ocean. Look, it looks so blue. Like I just look out there and I appreciate it. I'm like, oh, I'm excited to go back out there, and at the same time, I'm not going to dwell on it because if I hop over the little fence, they'll probably arrest me, and so that's not one of my options right now. You hit the awareness. That was the other thing that you inspired me to say. Like the awareness is so important. So happy that you mentioned that, Shiva, because without it, like the self-awareness part that you mentioned, none of us have even a choice. The only reason I do any of this stuff is because it's fun for me. Once as human beings, we can be aware enough to have choice, and then you won't hear me again say choose this or choose this. Like you have to choose for yourself. It's your life experience, and from that choice, you're going to have a life experience that'll give you clarity as far as, ooh, I want to keep going this direction, or, I don't want to really go that direction. You have clarity, what you like, what you don't like, what you want and don't want. So I'm happy that you mentioned that. I can tell that that's a big thing for you as far as just having the awareness so that you have the power of choice. For sure. What are you excited about right now as far as like, it could be like personally or what's going on in humanity or like what's going on in your world? Like, you're in Montreal. You've been there for a little bit. I've heard amazing things about the city up there. I'm excited to visit Montreal at some point in the future. You've told me that people do speak English there. So Montreal's people, I was mistaken. I thought there was very few of you that spoke English. So now I have more incentives to go.
Both ways. Everywhere you go, people say bonjour, hi. So just to give you like choices, they give you the choice of like, are you gonna go French or are you gonna go English with me?
Quebec
No,
City, not so much though, right? That's what they said. Quebec City more.
Quebec is definitely more French.
Okay, okay.
You will find people in the touristy area, I think, that are going to be more inclined to speak English. But even then, if you speak English, people will understand you. They may not answer in English, but you can communicate.
For sure, for sure. With everything that's going on the planet right now, what's your perspective and like what are you excited about as far as how things are evolving, whether in your life or for humanity or anything? I'm curious what your perspective is right now. We're at an interesting time in life.
I've been saying this for the past maybe 5 years. I've literally been saying that, like, wow, like life is so exciting. I'm so excited for life. I'm so excited for everything. And yeah, so for the past few years, I've been saying this. I'm like, we are living in a world where anybody can literally make a living online, where anybody can be who they choose, who they want to be. You like people are waking up to this knowledge of like, hey, you can actually be who you want to be. Who you want to be is accepted, and that's like it's good. Like you're good, you're okay, like you're safe. It's so exciting to me. As you can tell, I get like really excited talking about this, especially with like myself coming from corporate and doing something completely different, like modeling without an agency, which is unheard of. I'm 5'4", like I'm short. I'm not a tall person, yet I was able to make a living freelance modeling. Crazy. My partner used to be a geologist, and he went on a trip and completely changed his life and came back and stopped being a geologist. He's a photographer now. This makes no sense. Like, but this is the world that we live in. We're becoming so much more open to possibilities, period. And I think with everything that's happening now, too, that I've been saying, it's like the shift that we're experiencing. It's another awakening. But it's an awakening on a global scale where some of us, I believe, were, slowly, well, a little nudge here, a little shove there, and we were awakened. But now the world has, like, shaken everyone awake that, like, hey, pay attention. This is your life. You get one life. Make it extraordinary. So I feel like that's the vibe that's in the air right now with everyone. And even within like family, like we obviously are social distancing, but when we talk to like our family, and the conversation just seems so much more rich and important, and it's so like like we're there in the moment so much more instead of just like on the phone being distracted, like yeah, I'm just doing this, whatever. It's like no, I'm gonna stop what I'm doing. I'm gonna talk to you right now. Like with everything that's happening right now, this is what I'm feeling. Like I'm just so excited to see how much creativity and how much is coming from this time that we've all had to just sit with ourselves. I'm so excited, and I know there's going to be so many people who have felt the nudge of entrepreneurship who are going to be, like, I need to do this now. Like, there's no more time to waste. I need to do this now. And yeah, I'm very excited.
I love it.
I'm excited about everything.
I love it. It shows. I can feel it, and the audience can feel it as well. And it's an awesome place to be, because if we can have like that curiosity, that adventure, that sense of adventure of I don't know exactly what the whole movie is going to look like, but I'm excited for all the scenes, which is the vibe that I get from you. I just look at life as a movie, Shiva, where you're the star, I'm the star of my movie, you're the star of yours. Everybody out there, you're the star of your movie, and again, we can know what different scenes we'd like to have, but we don't know like when those scenes are exactly going to be, all the other characters that are going to be in those scenes. Like we don't know any of that stuff, the details of it. We don't need to know. All we need to know is, okay, I'm excited for this scene where I have a scene over in Bali, or this scene where I have a scene where I'm doing modeling or doing photography or doing whatever you want to see in your movie. You can have it, but if we can then just allow the answers as far as how, when, where, who's going to be involved, we can allow those to unfold synchronistically, because they always do. Like none of us have ever been able to predict. If you're in a relationship right now, pretty much all of you couldn't have predicted all the steps that led to you meeting that person, and like it didn't happen the way that you didn't have it all scripted out. Your movie scene wasn't like from start to finish, like you knew all the different things that you're going to go to this coffee shop at this time, and then you're going to meet someone, and then they have a friend, and then you guys are going to go on a double date, and then all of a sudden, like none of you out there had that scripted. And so just knowing that, and that gives me so much peace to know I don't have to figure out all the details of the plot, then we could just be excited for the movie to unfold. And again, go back to enjoying the moment, and answers will come. I love knowing that I could ask the universe for any question that I have when it comes to something that's important to me. And then when I'm ready to receive the answer, it might not come right that second, doesn't need to. It could, but it doesn't have to. And then normally it'll happen in a time where it's like, I'm just somewhere in a good mood doing something. You know, I could be at home, I could be out, I could be in the shower, I could be doing whatever. And so you got me very excited the way you described that. And what I see, Shiva, right now is humanity, because we've had this illusion. The biggest illusion, in my opinion, for humanity is that we're separate. Starting with thinking that we are all these different separate physical avatars, not realizing that we're the same non-physical energy. Like, that's the first thing as far as separation goes. But then also the questions that most have asked in our lifetime is, how can I have this? How can I feed my family? How can I do this? And nothing wrong with this question. All I'm saying is that back in the day, way back when we were in tribes and people had to actually support each other and bring whatever they could bring to the tribe in order for the tribe to survive, or else nobody would survive. Like, if you could fish, like, you needed to catch some fish or we weren't going to eat. If you could maintain the fire, like, that's what you needed to do. If you had to go get wood, you needed to do that so that we could have a fire. I mean, everybody had their role. If you were a warrior, you need to keep the saber-toothed tigers and the other tribes out of our community. Like, we had to, like, help each other, or else we all don't make it. And in our lifetime, because we have this, like, technology and we have all these things, it's very easy to just ask questions for I, and nothing wrong with that. At the same time, if in addition we can ask questions for we, how can we help each other? How can we thrive? How can we live a really fun and fulfilling life? We have different answers. And I keep just putting it out there because these are the questions that I'm asking Shiva, and this is what leads to awesome collaborations like these and a lot of other things that I'm creating. And I'm just excited for humanity to know that we can all thrive. Like, the only reason that any of us don't thrive is because we're wanting to do it individually. And if we do it collectively, then there's more than enough abundance of all resources and everything on this planet for us all to enjoy our life. So
Love that. I love that so much.
you can see this isn't something that just popped into my head just now. This is something I've been speaking with the universe about and others, and this is just everything I'm doing right now is collaboration, and it's fun because, like, a couple weeks ago I didn't even know you existed on the planet, and now all of a sudden we're sharing information that will uplift other people and be valuable for anybody that's attracted to receive it. And my favorite part of life is the fact that we're here with 7.7 billion humans. It's pretty awesome when we wrap our mind around, like, there's people today out there listening that right now you don't even know that they exist. And if you're present and you're just, if two people are in a good mood or at peace at least, or just call it a good mood when they meet, you can have a cool conversation and who knows what else at any time while we're here on this earth. Because you're never going to be anywhere really where you're alone. I mean, unless you're like, even someplace, I was going to say if you're at 4 a.m. and you're out in the street, but I mean, in Miami, you're not going to be alone. Those people right now kind of because we have curfew, but in traditional life, there's always people around. So just enjoy life with everybody. That's my advice.
I think so, but it's so true, And it's funny that you mentioned the whole, because one of the things I always say is you never know who you're influencing. And this stems from when I was younger, my mom used to tell me, and I can best remember this. So when I was a child and I would be like in a bad mood, and she would tell me, before you leave the house, just fix your attitude. But the way she would say it, she would be like, think of yourself as like a radio signal, right? You're giving off like signals. So the vibe that you're giving off, wherever you go, people are gonna they're gonna feel those vibes too, and you're influencing them without even realizing it. And as a child, of course, I was like, that makes no sense. But it pops up in my head every now and then where I'm like, wow, like, did she even realize how much how much juicy things she was giving me just from telling me this? Because it's true, like, you never know who you're influencing. And I'm so big that even from like a content creator, the energy that you put off when you're posting, I 100% believe people can feel this. And I say this to my partner all the time. So he's a photographer, right? And he'll post a shot or he'll like write a caption, and I'm like, yeah, your vibe was not correct. Like, you are not into that. You just did it just to do it, and it's gonna show. And for real, like, the engagement won't be as into it. And I'm telling him, like, yeah, because people can feel your vibes. And at first he was like, okay, like, whatever, that makes no sense. But when he started actually taking his time and sharing more of himself and having like a positive vibe, like, yeah, like I'm gonna post because I want to post because I'm proud of this shot. It gets me through the roof. And of course, and I told him, I was like, of course, people can feel your body, they can feel it through your words, your picture, it imprints on it. You know, so like, yeah, we're all affecting each other without even realizing it. I love that.
Your mom was wise, dude. You guys out there?
She's still with us.
No, I'm just saying. Why was and is what like what Shiva's mom shared with her is truly the only thing that matters during our human experience, and I'm gonna share with you why. So, Shiva, I've been to events where I've had the EEG brain scanners on, where they literally could show me my frequency, my energy in the moment. I've also been at those same events where they measured like the heart, like the energy that's coming from our heart, and that could actually measure the entire frequency of the room, the collaboration of everybody in. Like, so I've like seen frequency. So even though 50 years ago we would say things like this and it might just sound like kind of out there, in 2020 and beyond, this can be measured scientifically. So at every moment of all of our lives, in this present moment, you're measuring your a frequency, like your energy, you're a vibration that can be measured here with the right technology. And so my point is, whenever you are on the planet, that frequency is going to be attracting other people, situations, circumstances, ideas. The only thoughts that any of us can have are a direct match to the frequency that we're in. None of us out there will ever have a happy thought if our frequency is measuring at depressed or sad or angry or upset. We're going to have angry, sad, upset thoughts. And again, not saying there's anything right or wrong or you should or shouldn't be any frequency, but it's just great to be mindful of where you are, because if you know that if you leave the house, like your mom gave you great advice, if you leave the house in a crappy mood, which we've all done it, then you're only going to have crappy mood thoughts. You're going to say crappy mood words if you're speaking. I highly recommend not speaking if you leave the house in a crap mood. And all of your actions that you do are going to be crappy mood actions. And so what do you think our results are going to be? You're going to have I've never heard anyone leave the house, Shiva, and they said, I've been in a bad mood all day, but I just had the most amazing day today. I've never heard that. Like, it just, and you won't, because your whole movie scene for that day is just going to be one of those dramatic scenes in your movie. So it's cool. Like every movie that we've seen, there's some dramatic scenes and there's some awesome scenes, and I guess you need both for the full life experience. But just know, if you want a drama scene in your life, and as you're the star, just leave the house in a crap mood, and speak to people in a crappy way, take crappy actions, and you're gonna have some drama for sure. That's life simplified right there, and that's so wise. The fact that that's popped in your mind, it makes total sense to me now. Like that, it makes sense to me how you've been able to evolve the way that you have. Because again, once we have awareness of anything, you can't become unaware of it. So it pops back in your mind when you need it throughout your life. Whenever you've needed that reminder, like my mom used to tell me, that's a great reminder for everybody.
Yeah.
I love that. The only thing that I focus on is what's my frequency right now. Only thing that we can control, and the only thing that matters. And here's the cool thing about energy also, for everybody out there. Like, energy never stays stagnant. Like, so anytime someone wants to label themselves like, I'm a happy person, or I'm an anxious person, or I'm a depressed person, the answer to that is always sometimes. Like, nobody ever stays in one place. And the good thing to know for all of us is which direction the momentum is going. So say you're frustrated right now or worried about the state of the world. Stay focusing on that thing. The story that you're telling about it it's never the thing that's going on. It's the story you're telling about it. So say you're frustrated about something and you're still focusing on it. You're focusing on it. 10 minutes later, you probably won't be frustrated anymore. You'll probably be upset. Like, your momentum is going to kick in. Like, it'll continue going. Like, it won't stop. You feel worse and worse and worse and worse. Also, cool thing to know is if you're ever enjoying yourself, you feel better and better and better and better. And the momentum can go up to where words like bliss and euphoria aren't actually strong enough descriptions of how good we can feel. So I love that you said that. You hit my passion button as far as wanting to make sure that everybody is fully aware of this, because without this awareness, life is a roller coaster. Because then you'll just leave the house some days in a bad mood and not even realize what is going to happen in your day. You think still in the back of your mind, maybe it'll still be a good day. It might. Stay in that bad mood for long enough, you're going to have some drama in your day, that's for sure. So I just want everybody to be aware of that. Choose whatever you want. Noelle's not saying choose to be in a good mood all the time. Do what you want, but just don't be surprised if you say something that is a jerk vibration to someone and they respond back to you in a jerk vibration, and it escalates from there.
I love that you hit on the story that we tell ourselves. I love that so much. when you're talking to somebody and they kind of say, "Oh, but that's just how I am. Oh, it's just how I think. It's just what I do." This is like one of the worst pet peeves of mine because I'm always like, "But why?" When you ask them, "But why?" Like, why is it just how you are? Like, let's dissect this. And it all just comes down to stories that they've been telling themselves and things, experiences that have reinforced these stories. And then it's like not realizing that like you do have the choice to change that narrative. You do have the choice to change that story. That story doesn't have to define you. That story doesn't have to go into this box of like this is just who I am. You have the choice of changing this. It doesn't just have to be who you are. And I think like the story we tell ourselves, like it's so powerful to realize like we do have the choice in the story that we tell ourselves. In the story that you've been told about yourself, having that awareness of like, well, what if I don't like blue? My mom always told me I like blue. My dad always told me I like blue. I always have blue on. But wait, do I like blue? You know what I mean? Just to simplify it, but just something as simple as that. Like, how many stories are we telling ourselves over and over and over again that may not actually be accurate?
Absolutely. I love this topic so much because whatever story that we tell, we get to keep. So if you're telling a story about anything, I hope it's one that you like because you're just crafting your movie. You're crafting it. You're the producer, you're the director, you're the writer, like you're the cast. You're the only thing that matters in the movie called life. So if you are telling a story that is one that you don't like, once you're aware of it, now again you have a choice. So now you can tell a new story, and you may not believe because really the more that we tell the story, it's just like ingraining our belief in, because you tell it, then you believe it. Maybe it's not just you telling it. Maybe there's outside people that are telling you that you're not good enough or whatever it is. And I mean, if you hear that long enough and aren't aware of what Shiva is describing here, then you may start to believe that, and then that reflects out. But the good news is, and this is why people talk about doing affirmations and things like that. Not that the first time you say an affirmation you're going to believe it. You most likely won't. But again, you keep repeating that, and then you start seeing. You mentioned this a second ago, Shiva. You start seeing evidence of that showing up. When you start affirming that, I like to leave the house happy. I leave the house happy. I'm happy when I'm out in the world. I'm happy when I'm out in the world. You refer that. You start telling that story, and then you'll just remember like, I'm happy when I'm out in the world, and you just start to choose to be, and then you have happy experiences. You're like, I like this happy out in the world story, and then it's like you want to be even more, so it reinforces it, and we can always rewire, but it definitely is. It takes awareness, and it takes the choice to actually want to. For you guys out there, you can't choose for anyone else, so trying to get someone to change their story if they're not ready to, good luck with that. Tried that at times in my life, and it's not a lot of times people will resent us for trying to change them into anything that they're not ready to change into themselves, and just it's really not possible for us to. We don't have that power. So save yourself the energy. Be the example of the change that you want to help someone make, and then they can see a reflection, because we're all mirrors for each other. So they can see their reflection in you, and maybe they'll want to be happier or be healthier or be whatever it is that you want to help someone with. Just be it yourself first is my best advice.
Definitely. And I forgot to mention earlier, but the certification that I did, so I actually became certified in NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming, so the language of our mind. So this is something else that I realized I had just intuitively taught myself for things that I just kind of figured out how to do, and it's like, oh, but this is actually a thing. Also hypnosis. Hypnosis, speaking your subconscious mind. There are all of these things that are being proven to work. So affirmations, there's actual proof of affirmations working, and how you can rewire your brain. So a lot of people, these are all beautiful words that you're saying, but it's but there's actually proof of these things working. So it's not just love and light and that's it, but there's actual ways that you can rewire your brain. It happens. And I think recently you had a conversation with somebody who did the same program that I did. She's an NLP therapist and all of these other things as well. And same thing, it's been proven that these things, they work. But it has to come from that choice of, I want this to work as well. You have to that choice of wanting it to work, and you have to make that choice of, the story that you've been telling yourself. If you're not happy with it, you want it to change, make that choice of wanting it to change, and then figure out the rest of like how to get it to change. But there are ways of that happening. There are ways of that changing.
Absolutely. I love this so much. Like, you guys out there, don't overcomplicate life. If you have something right now that you want to see evolve and change in your life, just the knowing, the awareness that you want to that's the most important part of it, because now you can be open for the how it can happen and all the details that you need. And then all of a sudden you're listening to a podcast where you're like, that Shiva human has a lot figured out. And now you're following her on Instagram and shooting her a message, and now things are evolving. And it just, who knows where things can go when we're open and then we're ready for the answer to the questions that we have, when we're ready to receive them. And then don't take it as coincidence. Say, oh, this is an answer, a possible answer to the question that I asked. Let me follow this path. And then once you have some new information, some new awareness from there, then it's just a practice from there. Once you're aware, like once Shiva became aware of NLP and all the things that she's learned along her journey, things that her mom shared with her, it's just a practice, and it's an ongoing practice for all of us forever. It never stops. Like all of us, all this awareness that we're talking about, all it does is it puts us, I like to say it puts us 99% of the way there. And the 1% is the choice that you're going to make in the moment. This is why that you can't just say, oh, I'm always happy. No, sometimes maybe you're happy a lot of times, and that's awesome. If you've wired yourself to where you're happy a lot, I enjoy being happy. Like, this is a state of being that I like to be in, and I like to be playful, and I like to have fun, and I just like to enjoy my life because I take this moment as the only one that's promised. I wasn't always like that. Some days I was happy, some days I wasn't, and it was more of a roller coaster, but I wasn't aware of any of this stuff. And so my point is, for anybody out there, if you have things in your life that you want to see evolve, be really excited that the answer of how they can evolve will find you, and you'll get little nudges and just follow those. And then once you have the awareness, like, oh, like I can do this, then it's just practice. And then just you practice anything long enough, you're going to get good enough at it. You're going to get better and better and better, and that's the way that it works.
Yes.
I love it. Anything you want to promote to the audience? Definitely follow Shiva, but anything that you want them to know that you're up to, or and also before, I'm going to two-part question, because I love to squeeze like all the juice from people that they want to share. And you've already been doing it the whole episode, but just making sure, because somebody could be attracted to this episode like 50 years from now. Say hello to Shiva and I. We'll still be around. I'm affirming it. We'll be hanging out. So tell me anything that you want the audience to know whenever they're attracted to this episode that you feel will make a positive impact in their life. And you've been doing it the whole time, so you could just say refer to the rest of the episode. Or if there's anything else that you want to share, please feel free.
I think just a reminder. I always try to remind people in my lives, and like my clients, I would try to remind them that, life is so amazing. I know it sounds very simple, but it's true. Life is so amazing, and we all have things that, circumstances, like you mentioned, things that are out of our control. Like a lot of people, when I tell them about the fact that I was pregnant at 19, I had a miscarriage a month before my 20th birthday, and even going back to my stepfather mentally and emotionally abused me from the age of 9 to 15. A lot of people are shocked when I tell them this. They're like, whoa, what? And it's like, yeah, and these things, of course, they've had influence on my life, but because of these circumstances, because of these things that I knew, like, I couldn't change, I'm able to do other things. I'm able to see things in a different light. I'm able to see both sides of it, and that has motivated me to be better for myself. That has motivated me. This is also why I'm such an advocate of self-love, being a self-love mentor, because I really believe that when you take the story of you all together, the story that you're telling yourself, the story other people are telling you, be happy, love it. Be comfortable in your skin, love that, love the full experience in the present, I think that's so important, and we don't speak on that enough, of people waking up and actually wanting to wake up, people waking up and being happy for the day, just being happy in the moment, just have the experience of like, wow, I'm alive today, like I woke up today, and it's such a gift that I don't think we appreciate it enough. Like my morning routine, I wake up, I'm in bed for at least 20 minutes, and I'm just like, wow, and I'm not even kidding. kidding. My partner will tell you. He'll be like, get out of bed already. I'm like, I'm just enjoying the fact that like I'm just enjoying the moment. I'm going through my tapping. I'm doing my things and my high vibe thing, and I'm just happy. I'm just like, whatever the day is bringing, like I'm good. Like I'm good. So I think just reminding people that like you don't have to be miserable. You don't have to hate your life. Like you don't have to. And I know it may seem far-fetched because people in your life, or maybe yourself, even tell yourself differently. But there are other, like you can't have something different. The people that you look up to, they're not that different from you. And we all have people that we look up to, right? Celebrities, whatever you're gonna call them, people who are in power, they're not that different from you. So figure out what's stopping you from believing that and from truly stepping into your higher self. And in terms of promotion, I guess, I am working on a few courses right now having to do with self-love, having to do with confidence, even having to do with bloggers or influencers or even coaches and entrepreneurs to help them get more confident for the camera. I've come to the realization that not everyone is as comfortable in front of the camera as maybe you and I. And I really like to help people with that. And I do work one-on-one with clients. I also have a group coaching program that I'm working on. And it is a big investment, and I know not everybody can invest in that. Not everybody has the means to. So this is why I think my courses, they are going to be able to invest in that because it's going to be obviously like a lower investment. So that's what I'm working on right now. I'm really excited. I'm really excited for life. I'm excited for everything that's happening, and I'm excited to share more of myself and to be more out there, just to, like you said, show people what is possible.
I love everything that you just said. When this episode comes out, you guys rewind and listen to Shiva's last part of this. So important, everything you just described. The sitting in bed just in awe. You start your day like that, oh my gosh, like you'll have a lot of good days. Like there's never any guarantee that our vibration stays there all day, but you're giving yourself a great chance to have an amazing day. I do the same thing, Shiva, and it's so interesting. I remember days like years ago where I never knew how I was going to wake up. Like some days I wake up and I'm just like not in that excited of a mood. Now it's like, because it's been a practice, and because I wake up and I'm like meditate in the morning, just because I just want to get myself in a vibration that I like to start the day in. But yeah, no, it's like I'm expecting to wake up in a good mood, and so there could be like construction going on that wakes me up. Like they've been doing the construction in my building, and even that, like I'm just like smiling. I'm actually happy that I'm up a little bit earlier than I thought I was going to be, and like I'm good. Like I'm just ready to go. So don't like make yourself feel wrong if you're not waking up in awe. Like, but it's a practice, and if it matters to you, just know it's possible. And I love that the reason that I love that you just shared that, because I just want everyone to know that everything that we're sharing, it's all possibility for all of us. And like Shiva said, like the people that you look up to, they're not much different than you. They're all mirrors for you. Like they're just different expressions of you. Like that's you. They're just living their life in a different physical avatar. So you can look at them and be like, wow, like if that's what's possible for a human being, like I can either do some of that, or I'm going to take that inspiration and I'm going to go do some of this that is more in alignment with what I want to do. But there's no like special breed of human where like only this type over here can be like happy and only this type over here can be successful. Like, again, we're just different expressions. So just know that you're mirrors for each other. If you see something that you really love in someone else, then know that that's just a different version of you. Be super excited for them. Be super excited for you. And if you find yourself pointing out anything where you're condemning someone else or judging or making someone, saying that someone else isn't good enough or, whatever it is, just know that that's a great place to start, as far as, because we can only see in another what's present in ourselves. So if you're condemning someone else, then there's some things that's a great place to start, as far as some more self-love that you can do for yourself in that area of life. So such a beautiful conversation this was. This is so much fun. I appreciate you. And I know the audience is enjoying if they're watching live. I don't see you guys over on Facebook, but saying hello to you guys, anybody that's watching live. And Shiva, I just appreciate you coming in for sharing your energy with all of us. And this has been fun. I'm affirming that this is the first collaboration, and there will be additional collaborations in the future. I enjoy your energy and what you're sharing.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for sticking around too. I know you asked me a few weeks ago. I was just kind of like, I don't know. But thank you for allowing me the space to still come on and be a part of this.
I always affirm the same thing, that everything is happening in perfect timing, and it always is. Like, it's just, I got, when I come across someone's, like when I invited Shiva to be on the podcast, I'll come across someone's Instagram page, and maybe once a month I'll be inspired to just see who's like on the planet that I want to collab with. And so that was just one of those days, and all of a sudden I see your profile, and I'm like, look at the light that she's sharing with the world. Like, it's awesome. Like, I don't remember if you had a story that day that I was like, that's cool, but it's just something will catch my attention, and it's just a quick like voice message for me. So you feel like my right now energy as far as that goes. So, and then I just leave it up to that person and to the universe. Like, if it's meant for us to co-create right now, awesome. Maybe there's people that have messaged me back like a year later, and it's like, oh my gosh, like this guy lost him. I'm like, I always affirm the same thing. Everything's happening in perfect timing. It's all good. So, yeah. Well, thank you guys out there for tuning in. Definitely share this episode with anybody that you're inspired to share it with, and it will definitely impact them and uplift them. And thank you guys that have been rating and reviewing the podcast. It's been making it easier for people to find these episodes. And I've learned there's no one review rule on iTunes, so feel free to go back and say that Shiva Human was awesome, and some things that you had some light bulbs come on, definitely put those there, and I'll screenshot it and make sure that she sees that. We all appreciate that whenever we're sharing, light with humanity. When someone can say, "Oh, this was really useful," like it just makes it even more fun to do this. Like, this is a conversation I would have wanted to have with Shiva anyways. However, it's way more fun to record it and share with all you guys. So appreciate all of you for co-creating in that regard and for sharing it and all the things that you guys do. And we'll talk with you guys soon on another episode with another awesome human that right now maybe I don't even know if they exist on the planet. That's not true. I know the ones scheduled, so I do know they exist now, but soon there'll be others that I don't know that exist that will be sharing with you guys too. Have an amazing day, you guys. We'll talk to you soon. Awesome. So much fun. Okay, let me stop the stream and I'll say bye to you, Shiva. This was fun.